Be looking at creating a choose your own adventure lesson as a teacher, and this basically is just going to allow some voice and choice. It's kind of similar to a choice board when you use it as a lesson, but I just want to show you how you can incorporate some choice within a lesson. So this is a science lesson, and my first would you rather, and I just use that language because I know kids would understand kind of choosing, but fiction and nonfiction. So both of these stories have about the equivalent information in them, and I love that there's more fiction authors out there that are able to break down kind of tricky concepts or maybe less interesting concepts into a fiction story, because we definitely know kids have preferences. So this is their first choice. They can choose between reading through fiction or nonfiction, and I have these buttons linked right here to go to a certain slide. So if they click the fiction story, they're going to go to slide 4, which you'll see over here, and if they click here, it's going to go to slide 5. So when we go to slide 4, I have some questions for that book, and the questions are actually exactly the same between the two books. They're going to click on this book, and it's actually going to open up Epic, but it should take them directly to this book. Now you can also assign books and create lists and that kind of thing within Epic, but the direct link I thought would be the easiest for them. So that does send them out of Google Slides, just so you know. If you would rather, you could find something that you could paste in here or an article that's in here, but this does take them to Epic, which should be an app that my students at least would be familiar with. Now, after that, they actually get dropped back in together at the same place. So I just had a kind of checkpoint question about gravity, and you can choose to put a text box like I did at the bottom, or you can choose to just have this stop and think point where they don't necessarily leave a response. Now, the next slide that they would go to is another would you rather, and this is kind of where they get to choose the type of way they are going to explore force, motion, push and pull. And so there's going to be 2 different routes they can go. They can learn through origami, which does require being able to fold paper. And so I chose that gift to kind of show them, like, this is what you're going to be doing. And then the other option is through science investigation, where they'll be doing some little experiments. What's cool about this is whether you're doing this in class or virtual learning, is that kids are getting lots of different experiences. So when we bring the group together to have a conversation about what they learned about force, push, pull, motion, gravity, they're all going to have a little bit different perspective, and they're going to be able to bring different examples to the table in discussing this, which I think is awesome and creates a broader experience with the information. This also really taps into what students are interested in and what maybe their skills and talents are. So I'm going to show you what I would do to create this pathway and get them started. So you might have noticed earlier that I had these click here buttons. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So you can click insert shape here and go this route, or you can just click the little shape icon right here. And I'm going to go down. I like this shape right here. It's kind of a 3D square rectangle, but it just looked like a button to me. And so I liked that. I'm going to change the color to orange, kind of go with my little theme here. And I'm going to tap in here, click here. Now I am going to do some formatting here, centering the text, changing the font, and we're going to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Now, once I have that button, I'm actually going to copy and paste it so I can use it on my other side. Now, you'll see here in a second, I'm going to move this up here. I actually learned that I can't actually see all my links if I have it all the way down at the bottom. So I am going to link this one. I'm going to click slides and presentation, and I actually want to go to slide 8. Oh, and you can see here, this is why I moved it up. So we're going to move this for just a second. I'm going to try that again. There wasn't any space down there. Okay, so this is going to go to slide 8, and this one is going to be linked to slide 9. So you just don't want that. Make sure you have the button selected, not the text. There we go. Okay, so these 2 buttons are now linked to the next step. And at this point, like the book, you could just have 2 activities. In this case, I'm going to show how you can kind of spider web affect this even more. So if I were to click on here, I'm going to go to slide 8. And I actually have 2 different ways that they can use origami to explore force, motion, and all of that. So I'm actually going to have 2 options. So again, they're going to choose if they would like to make the frog or the paper horse. Now I hope they see through this image, and that's why visuals are so great, that the one on the left is definitely more complicated than the one on the right. So while a student may be interested in origami, they may also recognize like, oh wow, that's pretty intense. I don't have a lot of experience with origami. Maybe I want to choose the horse. And at this point, I also haven't added slides because I wanted to show you how to do that. So I'm going to copy and paste this, and you'll notice that it's linked to the wrong slide right now. I'm going to change that. I just would rather copy and paste buttons because it saves so many steps. So I'll change that link here in a second. So right now I have, would you rather learn through origami or science investigation? I'm going to go to the next one. Now, which origami would you like to use? And I need to add new slides. So I'm going to add 2 more slides. One is going to be for the frog and one is going to be for the horse. So I'm going to change the layout, and we're going to go here and I'm going to say origami frog directions. And at this point, I'm actually going to import a YouTube video. So I'm going to copy and paste this YouTube video. I've already watched it. Go to insert video. I've got my YouTube URL. There it is. And I'm going to insert that video in here. And the reason I'm inserting it in here is so that they watch it in the Google Slides. They don't have to leave Google Slides to get these directions. I'm looking for that, see that red line in the middle? That gets me pretty much in the center. So that kind of helps me center my video. And then this is going to be my other slide. I'm also going to change the layout to match the frog one. And I'm going to say walking horse directions. And I have that YouTube video pulled up right here. Insert video. And put that in there. All right, and I can go back and edit that later. So I'm just mainly gonna go back and edit my link. So I copy and pasted these buttons. So I wanna change the link. Right now it's linked to slide 8. I'm going to remove that link, and then I'm going to go to link again. And this time I want to go to origami frog directions, and I'm gonna click apply. Oh, I had my text selected, sorry. Oh, my text is still selected. There we go. This is so tricky. Move it up. There we go. Origami frog. There we go. And I can move that back here. And for my walking horse, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to move it up so I don't have the problem. So I'm going to remove link because I copy and pasted that. I'm going to add my new link to the walking horse directions. And there we go. So now I've got this kind of pathway. So I've got choose origami or science investigation. This gets me to the origami. I now have 2 choices between origami. If I want to do the frog, I'm going to end up here. If I want to do the horse, I'm going to end up here. But I still need to go back and I need to link for my science investigation. Okay, so this link, you'll notice, has already adjusted because I pinned it at one point it was slide 8, but Google automatically knows, oh, they wanted it to go to that specific slide. So as I moved slides around, it adjusted that link. So it is still set to the right link, slide 11. And I actually have 2 activities that they can do. One of them involves a bouncy ball, and the other one is this where you have an index card on top of a cup and a penny on top of the index card, and they try to get the index card out and the penny to drop in the cup. So this is the YouTube video, and I'm just going to show you, because this is the exact YouTube video I'm sending them to, I'm giving them credit. I'm going to capture the image from the video and use that as my trigger image. And that's what I did for the origami as well. So I was going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to hit play. I'm going to hit my capture or snip tool, and I'm going to get in on this image, to kind of give them a little peek. Oh, of what they're going to do. And then I'm going to go back here, and here's my image, and I can kind of crop out a little bit. I kind of wanted to get the card in there, but I was kind of fumbling with my capture. So if I was really worried about it, I could go back and get a better picture. But this will give them an idea of which one they're doing, and then I could get a picture of the bouncy ball one as well. And then when they click on this, I'm going to create another slide like I did for the frog, where I inserted a slide that actually has the YouTube video on the directions. And again, you don't have to use YouTube videos. If you have instructional videos, use them, create them. That's great as well. When you're thinking about creating a lot of choices involved, it can get very time consuming if you're creating all of your own content. But depending on what you're teaching, you may be required to create some content. But I am going to link this to a YouTube video. So I'm going to follow the same process I did with the frog and the horse. And I've got that. Now, the only other thing that you might think about is creating a trigger image that goes back. So let's say that the origami frog looks way too hard. We want them to be able to quickly get back to the horse choice if they want to. So that's where you can insert some kind of go back to choices button. So I could say go back, and maybe I could just leave it at that. And I could link that text back to slide 8. And that way, if they want to, they could go back and change their mind if they needed to. So you might also create that here. You could create a go back button. Maybe once they see the origami, they're like, ugh, never mind, that's not what I want to do. And they want to go back and select science. So you might incorporate some go back buttons as well to make this really a lesson that they feel confident doing.